Hi everybody, welcome back. I'm Ashley.
I'm Amy.
And we're Martin Midlife Misadventures. Tell them what I've done today.
She's amazing. She made a Thanksgiving dinner, all from the prepper pantry, all for under $20.
Under $20. I think I'm figuring about $17.50, and is enough to feed me, Amy, Grandpa, and
Yeah.
we have leftovers.
Yeah, and I just finished my plate, so while you guys are watching the video, I'm going to let it all kind of digest and try not to fall asleep.
All right, let's go. All right, we're going to start with the prep work. We're going to make our butter first with this Augustin Farms butter powder. The recipe calls, if I want spreadable butter, is 6 tablespoons of water to 1 cup of the butter powder. If I wanted to form it into a stick of butter, you would only use 3 tablespoons. But I'm going to go for the spreadable butter on this one. So let's get our 1 cup of butter. Oh, if you could smell this, it just smells like fresh butter. I swear to you, it just smells like fresh butter. So let's measure out 1 cup. Let me get a little leveler here so we can make sure. All right, now let's mix it up. I like to use a silicone whisk. And we're just going to slowly stir this up until we have a nice spreadable consistency. All right, can you see? It's a nice spreadable consistency. This is our butter. We'll set it aside. Now we're going to make some breadcrumbs, some breadcrumb topping. We're going to open this up. We're going to use 1 cup of these breadcrumbs. And I figure that's probably costing us about, oh, I don't know, 30 cents or so. To the mixture, this is my garlic powder. I keep it in a shaker because I use it every day. Remember, this is garlic powder, not salt. I'm going to add a tablespoon, not a tablespoon, a teaspoon of garlic powder. And I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of my onion powder. Okay? 1. They're kind of heaping too, everybody. 2. Now I'm just going to crack some pepper in there with my pepper grinder. Just get a nice little helping of black pepper in there. Another thing that we can add to this, if we just want to maybe add a little color. This says peppercorns, but it happens to be my fresh parsley that I've dehydrated. I save all my empty spice containers. That way, when I create my own spices, I can go ahead and use these spice containers. I'm going to put a nice little helping of this parsley. It just makes everything pretty. All right. We will stir it up as best we can, and we're going to set that to the side. So now we've got our breadcrumbs prepped and our butter. All right, next order of business, we are going to get our dressing ready, and we are going to soup this up, everybody. We are going to stretch this chicken stuffing, and let me tell you what, these things have a lot of sodium in them, so I'm going to show you how to stretch this and reduce the sodium per serving. The first thing we need to do is I'm going to use some of my dehydrated celery that I did this year. And we're going to get it rehydrating. So I'm just going to dump some in here. Just a little bit. We want to add a little extra crunch to this dressing. We're also going to add some of this granulated, like I said, it's bigger than granulated. It's chunks of onions that I dehydrated from our garden. I've got my little kettle here. We're going to fill this cup up. And we're going to set it to the side and let it do its thing while we get the rest of the things ready. I should probably give it a little stir. Oh, if you could smell the celery, it's perfect. So we'll set this aside. All right, now we got to chop up this day-old bread. It's more than day old. It's about 3 days old. I've been saving it just for this. And we're going to cube it, just like we would for croutons or making dressing from scratch. We're just going to cube it up. You see all those breadcrumbs I got from just 2 heels of my bread? That's amazing. That's way more than it's going to be into that container of stuffing mix. Let's go ahead and add this to our bowl. Here's our chicken stuffing mix. Comes in a little bag here. We're going to dump that right in. Now at this point, we really want to get this all mixed together so they're incorporated. See the difference? You got teeny tiny little ones from the stuffing mix, and these big ones are going to make all the difference. So let's mix them together very well. The box recipes call for 1.5 cups of water. So what we already have is we do have our rehydrating. Look at this, everybody. Do you see this? That's our onions and our celery rehydrating. So we've already got almost a cup of fluid in here. And what we're going to do, because we are using these no salt added green beans as well as this mixed veggies in another dish with this meal, we're going to drain the juice off of these and use them inside of our dressing. Let's see how much fluid this ends up giving us, because you've got to remember, if we are in an emergency situation, our water may be off, we may be rationing our water at the time. And the great thing about these is this is just vegetables, and that one is no salt added. Let's see how much fluid we got off of these. About 1.5 cups, and that's about perfect for what we're going to be needing. So that's a great way to not waste a single thing, everybody. Drain these juices. If you're not going to use them in the moment, put them in a container and save them for the next day. Find a use for everything. Let's start adding all the fluids in. We've got our celery and onion mixture that we rehydrated. Let's not waste any of it. Get it all in there. I am all about the rubber spatula. Save it all. Now we're going to add our vegetable juice from our canned veggies. Add that all in. And now let's mix it up. Now if you feel like you need more fluid, because I'm going to bake this off, I think it gives it a better feel when it's been baked through the oven. So I think we actually might need a little bit more fluid, so I'm going to add, actually, I'm not. I think this is perfect. We'll put this in our casserole dish, and we'll add a little of our whipped butter to the top of it. We'll spray it with some pure coconut oil. Spray it good. And now we'll add the stuffing mixture. We'll spread it out. Oh, this smells so good. Now what we've done is we've dramatically reduced the salt per serving on this by adding the plain bread that I baked myself. All right, we've got it all tucked in here, okay? Now at this point, if we wanted to, we could start taking little dollops of our butter and just kind of spread it around. Remember, I'm using only this butter. This is the only butter I'm making for this whole meal. So I'm just going to put a few little dollops on it. And I'm going to put a piece of foil on this and stick it in the oven. The oven is not on. This has no eggs, nothing that's going to go bad. It could sit there for hours before I bake it off. And that's only going to make it better because all those juices are going to get soaked up by all these breadcrumbs. All right, everybody, I thought I was rolling on my camera and I wasn't, but I want to explain something. Inside this bowl is the starts to my green bean casserole. We used 1 can of cream of chicken soup that we bought for 69 cents and 1 can of this no salt added green beans. We've mixed it all up in here with a little bit of cracked pepper. Now, I do have a cream of mushroom, but I paid $1.50 for this, and the expiration is longer on this. I need to get that chicken soup used. So, it's cream of something, it's going to work. I'm also adding just a hair, just a little bit of onion powder to this, because I don't have the French onions. We're going to do something different. You got to go with what you have in the pantry, and I'm really trying to keep this prepper pantry. I do have fresh onions in there. I could make my own, but we're not using fresh anything. We are using this prepper pantry. All right, let's dump this in our casserole dish. Looking really good. Let me get my spatula. See, that was a lot left in there. I'm glad I got my rubber spatula. You want to try to not waste anything, okay? Just like we took that fluid out of these cans of vegetables. You don't want to waste what's in the bowl. All right, let's spread this out. And we're going to sit this in the oven. Again, it's not on until we're ready to dress the top of it and get baking. All right, next order of business is our yams. And guess what? Amy likes them the good old way where you put the marshmallows on top. So we're just going to dump those in a bowl. I see one has a little end on it. It's all right. We're just going to spread them out, and we're going to set these in the oven until we're ready to bake them. Now at this point, you could take your spices, you could add a little bit of cinnamon to it, a little nutmeg, any kind of flavors you would like to add to these yams, but we're just going to keep it super basic for this, and we're going to do them like this with a little bit of marshmallow. Into the oven they go, just to sit, just to sit. All right, our next order of business are these biscuit mixes, and let me show you what I'm going to do with these. Now, these cost us 67 cents each, these biscuit mixes. They call for a half of cup of milk each. Instead of regular milk, we're going to use our pantry milk. Now, I could use this Augustin Farms Morning Moo. That would be great to use. I could use this reduced fat Gosner milk. This would be fantastic to use. But like I told you, we are using 1 can of evaporated milk for this entire meal. So what I've done is I have a half a cup of water, and I'm going to add a half a cup of evaporated milk to that to get us a full cup. Okay? Now we have a full cup of yummy milk. All right, let's dump our biscuit mixes. We've got 2 of them. And we've got our half evaporated milk, half water mixture to equal 1 full cup. And now we are going to mix this up. I'm going to use a funny little spoon because I just like to use a regular spoon. I'm going to get this all mixed up, and it's going to be kind of runny like biscuits normally are. They're soft, but we're not making biscuits out of these. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I have a third of a cup of flour here. I'm probably going to put about a tablespoon inside this mixture and mix it up a little more. So we're looking for a dough we can handle better. It's still a little too wet. We're going to add another tablespoon or so to this dough. This is just all-purpose flour. If you use self-rising flour, it's going to add a little bit more leavening to it, but I don't need the leavening. I want this like a dough. I'm going to keep adding about a tablespoon at a time until I get to the consistency I'm really looking for. And it's getting there now, because see how it's in 2 pieces, not sticking together? All right, on our board, we're going to spread out some flour, and we're going to bring out this biscuit dough. Okay. Only way to do this right is with your hands. It's still really sticky. So I'm going to get some flour on my hands, and we're going to start pressing this down. I'm looking for a dough that I can roll out. So I'm just folding it into itself. It's still very sticky, see? You'll know it's right when it stops sticking to your hand so bad. It's really only going to take about a third. It should only take about a third a cup of extra flour being added. Let me get my sleeve up here a little. Oh, I just made a mess. Okay. See this? This is looking good. I'm going to roll this up into a giant roll. Now what I'm needing is a lot of pieces from this. Let me get a knife. I'm going to cut it in almost half. A little less. I need 9 equal pieces out of this. Alright, I've kind of stretched this out into a longer piece like this because I want to get 9 pieces out of it. So, and I kind of want them to be equal, so I'm just going to kind of mark here what I think is about equal. This one might be a little bit bigger, but that's okay. And then we're going to cut these into thirds. And now we have the 9 pieces I'm looking for. We are going to take each of these pieces. This is the hardest part of the dinner, and it's not hard. It's just a little time consuming. We're going to put a little flour on them. All right, now we're going to take our individual pieces of dough, sprinkle them with a little flour, get a little flour on your rolling pin, and we're going to roll them out into little round discs. 9 of them is what I'm going to need. 3 of them are going to be for our dinner, and 6 of them are going to be for dessert. So just like that, nothing pretty. We'll set them aside. Get the next one and do the same. Put some flour, pat it down, and start rolling them in. They don't have to see that one sticking. Needs a little bit more flour. Just like that. Nothing fancy. Nothing fancy at all. I'll be back when they're all rolled out. Okay, this is going to be our last one. You really have to, I mean, I know it looks a mess here, but you really have to dust these liberally with flour or they're just going to stick. They're going to stick to your pin. They're going to stick to the board. Everything. All right, now we've got our final little dough here. Let me get my pan. First thing we're going to do, as we always do, is we're going to spray our pan with some good old 100% coconut. Get them in each one. This is the large muffin tin, everybody. This is the one that I like to use better than the little ones. We're going to take each one of our little doughs and we're going to set them in here. And we're going to press them against the sides. Make sure there's no holes on the bottoms. Flip that one over. They want to fold up on you. You just use your hands and it doesn't have to be pretty. It does not have to be pretty at all. We're going to fill all these muffin tins plus 3 muffin tins on another one. Some of them are a little misshapen, but you just do the best you can once you get it in there. You can also use rolled biscuits for this, but that's not something that's in the prepper pantry. Not in ours anyway, not on a regular basis because we can't count on refrigeration and electricity. So that's why we're using these. Let me get my other pan. We need 3. On this one, oh, that one's breaking up a little bit. So you gotta make sure you don't have holes on the bottom. I have little holes on the bottom there. I'm actually gonna take a little piece of dough and stick it down in there. Oh,
It's a little sticky.
Just need a little flour. Patch up your little hole. Alright. Put this one the other way. This one's a little small. So I'm going to take a little bit more dough. Flour. If you get a hole, just patch it up. I know they don't look beautiful, but they will taste good. You really want them to get as far up there as possible. This one's awful. That'll be mine. Yours and Grandpa's will be better.
They'll taste the same.
Yeah, they sure will. Alright. Okay. Now you see this? This is the rest of our dough right here. Where you're going to basically do the same thing. They're just going to be a little smaller. Okay? On these ones, we really want to try to get a nice disc shape. Let's see what we can do. We'll do, that looks about right. So we're going to get 3 pieces out of each one again. This one might be a little short, so I'm going to take some off of this one. It looks big. And we'll add it to that. And I'm going to roll these into small little discs, and I'll show you when they're done. All right, I've got my first pan in the oven. We're going to let it cook off for about 5 minutes at 350. We're just getting them a little bit cooked. Let's work on the filling. All right, everyone, for our main dish, of course, we've got to have turkey, right? I've got 2 cans of this Kreider white turkey. And if you look over here, can you show them this measuring cup? I have almost 3 cups in there. But I'm going to dump this turkey juice in here because this is going to be our water that we make the gravy with. Why would we throw out the turkey juice? So we're going to go ahead and add that to the almost 3 cups we had. That way we're using less water and we're going to have more turkey flavor to our gravy. Let's dump this in our pan. Turn on our heat. Uh-oh. There we go. Propane stove, everybody. To this, once it gets a little warm, we're going to add 3 packages of turkey gravy. They call for 1 cup each. That's why I had the 3 cups of water and added the turkey juice to it to really make it equal 3 cups. But we're using all 3 of these because we're going to use this gravy in a couple different ways. All right, each of these gravy packets cost us between 30 and 33 cents each. So for less than $1, we're able to use 3 turkey mixes. Some people like to bring it to a boil first, but it has cornstarch in it, so it activates better when the water's cool. I'm going to add a little cracked pepper. Always need more pepper. We are not salting this, though, because the gravy's already salty on its own, and there was a little bit of salt in that turkey juice that we added. So now we just sit and stir until we get a nice, thick gravy. We've cooked these little pie shells for about 5 minutes. See how puffy they are? I didn't expect them to get that puffy, so I'm just going to flatten them out just a little bit so they're ready for their filling. We've got our 3 over here. All right, we're working on our filling. We're going to take this can of mixed vegetables that we drained the juice off earlier. I'm going to put that in the pan. And we're going to take both of our cans of turkey. Make sure we get all of that out. All the little bits. We do not want to waste anything. Get it all out. 2 cans of turkey, $1 each. So our main dish, our turkey protein for this meal, is only costing us $2. We've got all that in the pan. We're just going to slowly warm this up. We'll come back when it's warm. All right, well, our turkey and vegetables are heating up nicely. Our turkey gravy is almost ready. Loving that. And I just wanted to show you, if you dehydrate your own vegetables, I could have used these instead of the canned vegetables, but I'm holding on to my dehydrates as long as I can. But you could use your dehydrated vegetables instead of a can of vegetables. That's your prepper pantry too, you know. This is looking good, nice and warm. We've got our gravy looking fantastic. I'm actually going to turn it down. And I'm going to spoon some of this gravy into our turkey mixture. Do you get what we're making now, everybody? We are making little individual turkey pot pies. Turkey pot pies. Look at that. So I'm going to let this sit for a minute, and then we're going to dish it into our pie shells. All right, it's time to fill these babies up. We got to make sure we have a lot of turkey in there. Amy and I tested the filling, and it's absolutely delicious.
So good.
And I do want these left on the side because we're going to serve it with it. And I'll show you how. All right, keep your eye on that. And we're going to start adding our tops. All right, I finished out rolling 9 more little discs. They're a little bit smaller than the last ones. Now we've got our other little flat discs that we rolled out, and we're going to press them down in here like this. See that? Let me get some more. Set one here, set one here. See, it didn't matter that it didn't come all the way up the sides because we're going to press this down and make a little crust on it. Got to press them together. Oh, little hole doesn't matter because we're actually going to make a hole on the top. Get these pressed in here right. And look at that. They may not be the prettiest things, but I'm telling you right now, this is going to taste like $1,000,000. Let me get a little knife because I want to make a little hole on the top of each of them, like a little X. That allows for the steam to vent. And now we're going to take these and stick them in the oven at 350, probably for about 10 to 15 minutes. I'll let you know how long it really takes. Okay, now we're going to make dessert. And I'm using apple pie filling because we actually bought this at the Dollar Tree for $1. It's the only pie filling I have that cost $1. And we like apple pie. So we're just going to scoop them out and start filling. I leave them in big squares. You can cut them up smaller. It's so much easier just to scoop it out. You could also add extra cinnamon to this, or nutmeg, or even pumpkin pie spice. Any of those flavors work really well with apple pie, but we're going to leave them just like they are for the sake of this video, because this is under $20. Prepper Pantry Thanksgiving meal. Are you excited?
I'm so excited.
Amy's had these pies before, so she knows
they're
so good. You can also use rolled biscuits for this, which is how I like to do it, but that's not in your Prepper Pantry, is it?
Not in ours.
Nope. So we've got to use what we have. Thinking in terms of maybe not having a lot of these things at our disposal. Now look at that. 1 can of apple pie filling pretty much fits 6 of these large. Now, these are the large muffin tins, everybody, and they are perfect. The other little ones, they're just little. It's almost like you're just getting a bite. This makes you feel like you're actually having a nice piece of pie, huh?
Yeah.
And we're going to do the exact same thing to this that we did with the other ones. And I screwed up, and I'm one short, so one of these pies is not going to have a happy little top on it, but that's okay.
Happy little top.
Happy trees. Let's paint some happy little trees. And we're doing the exact same thing. We're pressing it into place, just like we did on the turkey ones. Just making everything fit together. It's its little lid, its little top. Kind of a lot of flour on that. That's not good, though. Might want to... I added extra flour so they wouldn't stick together while they were sitting. But it'll be fine. It's apple pie. Who doesn't like apple pie? And then there's our lone stranger. He'll be fine. This will kind of bubble up around it. Let's take our knife in the center of them. Make a nice little X, T, whatever you want to call it. And as soon as those turkeys come out, we're going to pop these suckers in. All right, see how they're starting to puff up? Now, I could have egg washed them, I could have put butter on them, but we're doing Prepper Pantry, and every little thing counts right now, right?
Yep.
So, we can do without that. All right, these are coming out. They've actually cooked for about 13 minutes. Look at those. They're going to be so delicious. Now we're going to pop our pies in. Here are our apple pies. We're going to let those cook for about 15 minutes. We'll show you when they're done. All right, we got to get our crumb topping ready for our... I'm going to add some of this Augustin Farms butter into these crumbs. And we're going to just smush it all in. We are going to get a nice little crummy topping and cut in all this butter best we can. So we can sprinkle this over our green bean casserole, because remember, I don't have any French fried onions. I could make them. I have fresh onions, but this is a Prepper Pantry meal. And somebody may not have fresh onions on hand to make their own, or a little bag of crunchies. So we are opting to make a traditional breadcrumb topping to go on top. All right, we've got our green beans here, and we're going to dump our little mixture on top. Might have made a little too much, but I want to make sure I get all the buttery bits out of here. And this is going to be our green bean casserole. How about that?
You're my shero.
All right, I think our apple pies are ready. Hot stuff coming out. Oh yeah, they're done. This is hot. Now see the one that didn't have a top? It's still good.
I'll
It's
eat that
still
up
really
real.
good. All right, now we've got to put the rest of our dinner in. Okay, we've got to have some marshmallows on top here, because this is the way Amy likes her yams, huh?
Yes.
So we're going to sprinkle it with a generous little portion.
Cover the whole thing.
And these are kind of stale. This is what they're perfect for when they get a little stale. I think that's probably good, don't you?
No.
No? More? Okay. More?
A little bit. I can still see orange.
Oh my gosh, you want me to cover every orange spot. How's that?
That's good.
Holy cow, that's a lot of marshmallows.
That's going to be delicious.
Oh my gosh, you're crazy. Okay, let's start putting this stuff in the oven. We're going to start with, we're going to cook it all at one time, because it actually all fits in my oven here. Got our green bean casserole. We've got our yams. And let me grab and now we have our dressing going in. And we're going to bake these off. And while they're baking, we got to get our mashed potatoes ready. All right, everybody, we have the Idahoan mashed potatoes, sour cream and chives. But these are salty. Again, we're going to try to cut the salt and reduce the cost and increase the amount. So we're going to get 1 package of these and dump them right here. And now I'm going to add some plain instant mashed potatoes. That way, again, it's going to cut the salt per portion, and it's going to extend these out so we have more mashed potatoes. So I've got a 1/2 cup. And another full cup. There's our mashed potato mixture. This one calls for 2 cups of water. 2 cups. So what we're going to do is we're going to get 3 cups of hot water, and we're going to add, like we did before, some evaporated milk to it. I still have some in this container. That way we can get more of a creamy texture out of them. All right, looks like our water's boiled, so I'm going to turn that burner off. And I'm going to measure out 3 cups of hot boiling water. And we're going to add it to our mashed potatoes. I like to do this with a fork. Let's add it all in and start stirring. Oh, they're getting thick already. Look at that. They're getting nice and thick. And what do we do when our potatoes start getting nice and thick? We're going to add some milk. This is where our evaporated milk comes in. We're going to add a little bit of milk to it to get it nice and creamy. A little bit more milk. And we're going to add some of our Augustin Farms butter. The butter we made at the very beginning. We're going to add some of this into our mashed potatoes. A little cracked pepper. I'm not salting this because remember, those seasoned potatoes, they have salt in them, everybody, kind of a lot. So if you have to watch your blood pressure, or for whatever reason, maybe you're just super health conscious and you don't want to take in a bunch of salt like we don't. This is a way to make this less sodium per serving. All right, I think we need more milk.
So how much in total milk do you think that you've added?
Probably about 1/4 cup. Maybe a hair more. I might add a little bit more of this hot boiling water because they just seem really thick. There we go. Now we're getting a really nice consistency. And look at that. Slightly flavored, and they're buttered with our Augustin Farms. So I'm going to put a lid on this, keep them nice and hot. We got to get our cream corn ready. All right. This is the easiest part of the whole meal, huh?
Yeah.
We're just going to heat this cream corn up. I haven't had cream corn in probably 10 years or longer.
Me neither.
We chose cream corn because Amy will be able to digest this a little better. Technically, she's not supposed to have it at all. What's going on with our propane? Oh, there we go. All right, let's heat this up. We're going to put the back burner on too because we're going to heat our gravy back up. Put it on low and slow. Get that off of there. I probably have about this much cream left in this. I was able to do this entire meal with only 1 can, less than 1 can of evaporated milk. I just love that. I think that's awesome. And it had the date next month. So it's another reason why I wanted to get that going.
So the leftovers I can use for tea.
Your coffee or tea, yeah. So we're just going to heat this up. That's all this takes. And once we get it all done and all heated up, we're going to spread it out for you. All right, for our dessert, we're going to take just a couple tablespoons, probably 4 or 5 tablespoons. Look, we'll just use the last of this bag of powdered sugar. And we're going to add a little bit of our evaporated milk. And we're going to make a little glaze to go on top of our pies. Now, if you add a little bit, just a drop of lemon juice to this, it makes it so much better. But I think this is going to be good enough. It'll be sweet, and we're just going to kind of baste it on top of our apple pies for that little... That pie filling actually isn't very sweet at all, huh?
No.
This gives it just a little extra something. Okay, you want to bring that over here and we'll just pour some of this on top. Right on top of these pies. And it's like a little sweet goodness because we can't use fresh cream. We can't be making whipped cream right now, which is what I really would want to have on top of this.
We will once we have goats.
That's right. But for now, we just make a nice little glaze. I'll even put some on this, because this one didn't get a lid. And that's it. That's how we do our apple pies. All right, our first thing is ready to come out. That happens to be Amy's favorite thing. Look at that. Let those sit up here. They'll stay warm. Pull this green bean casserole back and take a look at it. It's getting nice and browned. And then here, this is doing well too. But see the August and Farm butter? It doesn't really want to melt, but that's okay. I'm sure it'll still be delicious. We're going to give these about 5 more minutes. All right, we're going to start pulling out all the food and putting it on the stove. Look at that.
Oh man, it smells so good.
I don't know if I can make it all fit up here, to be honest with you.
I don't think
You know what? I'm going to move the extra turkey filling. And then we can make it all fit. Because we have a little sniffing dog down here. Oh. She says, but it smells so good.
Look at that.
Look at that little green bean casserole. So good. We have our... Show my sink. Show my sink.
Hold on.
There's my dishes. Okay. But we have gravy, mashed potatoes, sweet potatoes, or yams, creamed corn, dressing, green bean casserole, and turkey pot pies. Let's make you a plate.
Let's do it.
Okay. Now we have our gravy. Do you want me to pour some over your pot pie?
Yeah, a little over the pot pie and a little over the stuffing.
Over the stuffing. Yeah. And a little on the pot pie.
Now, she was going to open up some cranberries for me because I love cranberries, but I told her not to.
Yeah, and she saved me $1.50 on this meal because the cranberries I have cost $1.50, and she said she didn't want any. And I also wanted to bring this product to your attention, Butter Buds. This is a way to get really good butter flavor without butter, and it's not that expensive, so that's something to look for. Look at this plate. Does that look like Thanksgiving?
Oh my gosh. It is just Beautiful. You're
All right.
amazing. You're absolutely amazing.
Let's see what you say once you try it. Let's do a taste test. All right, what are you going to try first? You've got your plate of food. You've got your apple pie.
I'm going to try the stuffing first. I've already said my prayers.
Okay. Oops, that's just the oven going off. Is it good?
Are you serious? This was less than $20?
Yep, the whole meal.
Ooh, I think I like that better than with the French onions.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't know where to go, huh?
I know, it's so good, you guys. Okay.
Let's see if we can show
Get some insides.
Look at that turkey and all those vegetables. And this is why we didn't make bread rolls, even though we could have for about 20 cents, because remember that bread recipe I gave you all? What? Is it so good?
That is so good. Oh my gosh.
Do you feel like you're having a regular Thanksgiving,
For sure.
like you've been cheated and you don't have... Now the yams?
Those are so good.
Look at her poor little work shirt. She's been working her tootie off all day. What's that? The corn? You don't get corn often.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. You're so good.
Try those mashed potatoes, because remember, I stretched them.
Right.
Good?
Those are so good. This is delicious.
Is it?
This is a home run in.
Right
You
on.
are awesome.
Now, how about you just take one bite of the pie so we can tell them?
All right.
Show 'em. Look at that big old piece of apple. All right.
You outdid yourself.
Thank you.
This is delicious.
I'm
Thank
glad
you.
you like it. Now we got to feed Grandpa. All right, everyone. What did you think about our Thanksgiving dinner? It was delicious. I got to tell you, it
was
really
so
was.
good.
I felt like I just ate Thanksgiving dinner.
We
All
did.
the flavors were there.
Oh man, it was
We
so good.
eliminated the cranberry sauce. I had one of those. Amy didn't want it. I was going to make macaroni and
Right.
cheese. We decided not to make that, which I was also going to stretch by adding more noodles to it, because I had one of those ones from the Dollar Tree, you know, the kind that has the sauce rather than the powder. So I was going to stretch that and throw some breadcrumbs on it like I did the green bean casserole.
Yeah, let's have that tomorrow.
We'll do that tomorrow
leftovers.
with the rest
That'll
of the
be
leftovers.
delicious.
And, you know, we get a lot of people who say those canned foods have too much sodium. We always look for low sodium everything, but it's hard to find.
Yeah, Ash tries to curb my salt intake.
Yes,
I'm a
I
salter.
do. I did not use a salt shaker one
didn't either.
time
I
on
didn't
this
either.
meal, and it didn't need it.
There were
That-
so many flavors that the salt would have just, I think it would have.
Well, and being able to mute the salt by adding plain bread, you know, to the stuffing.
Yeah, it
and
brings out all the other
the
flavors.
plain mashed potatoes to the... Oh, look at Jane. I'm wearing them. Amy's got hers on, too. We love these gloves.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's how we do it. You can reduce the salt by adding things that don't have salt. Oh, my goodness. Our dog is something else today. The big
rotten.
dogs are going at it, too.
She's rotten.
So anyway, that's how we curb the salt. We just add things that don't have salt to it. That way each serving size is now reduced in the sodium content. Amy's been working on the cabinet for the solar equipment. She's got her base. She's got it going. So I'm going to show you what she's got going, all right?
Let's do it.
All right, so what are you building here?
So this is going to be our cabinet for our solar equipment. So I'm going to make it 2 levels. I'll put another, I'll stack another pallet on top of these to make it taller so I can actually get in here. And then the back is going to be covered by corrugated metal.
Okay.
And then I'll shove some insulation down in here. Under here, I'm going to put insulation because this is 2 different pieces.
Oh, I see.
And then, check this out. So these are the scraps from the awning repair that I did.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to have Grandpa, because he's got a drill press and I don't. So I'm going to have him throw some holes in there for me. And I'm going to use these as the L brackets for there.
Very cool.
These will be all, it'll be super, super sturdy. And it'll probably come at an angle. And then I've got a piano hinge, so for right now, the door is just going to kind of come down and it'll open like this. And then eventually I'll make a door, but I want to get it all done before the snow comes.
Awesome. You're so cool. All right, everybody, thank you so much for watching. We hope you are prepping. We hope you are healthy. We hope you are staying positive.
Yes, absolutely. And man, you got to make what she just made because it was delicious. Delicious!
Put your own spin on it, but you get the idea, right?
I'm so full, I had to put the apple pie up for later tonight.
Yeah, she only ate a couple bites of it and said, I gotta wait.
Otherwise, I won't be able to move. There's no way.
Well, now she has a nice treat for later.
Yeah. So
all
good.
right, thank you all so much for watching. Please give us a thumbs up.
Please like, share, and subscribe. And make sure you hit that bell. A lot of you haven't hit that bell.
A lot of you haven't hit the bell.
Hit the bell so
80%.
you know. Yeah, so you know when we're here.
Yeah. Thank you all so much. We're going to be talking to you really soon. God bless you all.
Peace.